Where's my mic? Where's the mic? We did it. Oh my goodness. Let's see here. What are we going to talk about today? What are we going to talk about? I don't know if can you even hear me? Let's see here. La 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 la. La 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 la. Okay. We did it. You guys did it. What an honor. Awesome. Congratulations, everybody. That's a huge win for independent creators around the world. And you guys were a part of that. And that's really cool. A couple things I want to talk about today. One is I'll work on the poster and show you a little bit of that. Didn't get very far this week, which bleeds into the next topic, which is kind of where we are on the project. There's some things that have happened and want to fill you in on that as well. And then the other thing is kind of that leads into the timeline and timetable where we're at. And I think that's about it. I think those are kind of all the topics. And I guess it's kind of, I don't know, sort of fitting, I think, in one form or another, with this so it's kind of interesting that on July 1st, we were able to be fully funded, and life is full of amazing coincidences and weird blessings and ideas. And this isn't necessarily, and I'm sure it's probably communicated in one form or another. And I want to, I'll put it up so you guys can see it too. What I'm looking at on my screen. Give me a second. How do I do this? I'll do that one. There we go. So as you can see, I didn't make it very far, but we'll use this as the conversational backdrop. So the idea behind this is that, and I'm sure somewhere along the line, someone interpreted this, and it's not, I don't know. And here, of course, here I'm wearing a 1776 flag on my chest. And so it's sort of a thing that patriotism is, the story isn't necessarily about patriotism in the sense that it's about family, and it's about our ability to lift up one another in these greater, I don't know, calls to identity of and I suppose in a small sense of an American experience and what that kind of means. And there's a lot of interpretations, and we all have our beautiful opinions and ideas of what that is. But it's just interesting that, and a year ago, I never thought that, we would end a crowdfund in around sort of like the birth of a nation. And this certainly has sort of the idea of like the last colony and things aren't going well, and sort of this alternate universe timeline that we diverge from our own type of a thing, from my own sort of imagination and ideas and research. And this idea of this final stripe. And of course, with the American flag, when you look at it, each of the stripes, the red and white stripes, represents the 13 original colonies. And being that this is that in this poster anyway, kind of that last colony, that last line of hope sort of thing. And that's certainly, and you can see this idea played out where you see like that thin blue line for like police officers, or the thin red line for like firefighters, or those types of things. But it has certainly more to do with, again, the distances we will go for one another. And I hope that if there's sort of a lesson that I've learned over this last year COVID experience, still continuing for some of us, that we don't lose touch of the really important things, which is each other. That's for first and foremost the most important thing, that we don't lose touch of that. And I know you guys aren't, and that's kind of what this celebration is about, is that idea of how do we do this in a much more unique and more meaningful way, which was why we did the risk of doing our own platform. And it blows my mind that we shattered the algorithm, because we are the algorithm. It's such a cool concept, such an awesome concept that it kind of speechless about that whole thought in my mind of just how you guys were a part of that real, authentic, genuine, true grassroots algorithm. And that's so cool to break past sort of these barriers and be our own. Such a cool idea. So that's one major thing I think that is worth celebrating and finding ways to, any way, shape, or form that we can, to celebrate that idea and promote that idea. So, and I sense in a large part that's, maybe you're here just to take part of a comic and you get a cool comic. Maybe you're here to support Elijah Loving in one form or another, or maybe you're here to support the ideas of this idea of this comic, or just in general of crowd funds and supporting independent artists. And we as a people finding ways to more, because and not getting lost in the menagerie of silliness in our world, but focusing in on what each other's needs and hopes and dreams are, and helping each other achieve those things. That's what this is about. And I think that's so cool that we get to share in this idea to do that. So I appreciate each and every one of you for making this mission possible. And here we are sitting on that July 1st, which of course, there's so many historical anniversaries in and around this date, not just, of course, the in Declaration of Independence. You have sort of Gettysburg and many other things. And this is my event right here of us crowdfunding is nowhere compared to those things. But I think it's a representation of our that our identity goes far deeper than, so to speak, of our, how do I say this? It goes far deeper than our nationality, in that we all are connected to this human experience, and we all bleed red, and the excitement that what we can do together is phenomenal in authentic, genuine ways, through love and true compassion, in true uplifting, and challenging one another to do better. And I don't mean this in sort of like a preachy sort of a way, or like we're going to burn down your house. You don't believe this sort of a way. It comes through genuinely listening and talking to each other, and everyone's view and opinions are in true diversity, not in this goofballness that we see all over going on around the different platforms and those types of things. So, because we're not interested in censorship, we're interested in quite the opposite, in the understanding the expanse and to the stars. So there's my speech. So that's that subject. I wanted to talk about that, and just the crazy connections that we have in our lives. The other topic that I wanted to talk about is what has transpired. So over this past week, about a week ago, we found out that a lot of we had brought on someone to do our flatting, and a lot of the flats were up to par, which is sad and disappointing. However, no big deal. So what we did was I took the helm, and kind of this past week have been cleaning some of the inks up, which is a typical sort of a job that you have to do and something that I've been doing. But then I have also done a bit of the flats, and we've been cleaning up the flats and getting those all finished. So we currently are sitting, I'm hoping to get that all off my plate and finished tomorrow, which we are currently on pace to do that. I think we're down to 4 pages that we have to do that on. So we should be able to do that in the next 24 hours or thereabouts. From there, what we'll be doing is we'll be going over that final week, which is the 7th. So the crowdfund officially ends on Monday, the 5th. Monday, the 5th. The crowdfund officially ends on Monday, the 5th. I think. I don't even know. I think it ends on the 5th. We'll call it the 5th. So it ends that day, the day after 4th of July, I believe. And then once that's done, that entire week, I should be able to be finishing up all the coloring. And we are hoping that over that weekend, we'll get the lettering and all that sort of stuff done. And then that will be shipped off. I believe the plan is still currently on the 12th to have that shipped to the printers, including this poster that you're looking at now. And I want to do, should I share this with you guys? I'll share it with you guys. Give me a second. 1 second. Okay. So my idea, and this is, of course, the original artwork, and my idea, if you can see that, get over. So my idea is that this will be, it's going to be like your comic book size, your 6x10, whatever size. So this was shrunk down, right? But my idea is that the back of the poster will be this, and the front of the poster will be the colored version, and it'll be flipped. So it's basically, it'll look like it's mirrored is what I'm kind of the idea vision behind it. So it's like a 2-sided piece of artwork. I thought that would be pretty cool. So that's happening. And I spilt the beans there. And then what else do we have? That's, I think, as far as our timeline goes, and then it really depends upon the printer. So we're kind of at the whim at the printer at that point. I will certainly keep you up to date on all of those things, and we'll just kind of roll from there. I'm hoping that we're looking at late August, but I'll keep you up to date as far as any of those sort of odds and ends. When's printing and how's that going and all those types of things. So, and I should, first off, let me put this up. Thank you, RTD2 for life. Appreciate you, man. Congratulations to you too, for sure. And then Orion, absolutely. Yeah, I'm excited to have you get your copy too. It's so cool. Absolutely cool. More than anything, I think it's cool for the fact of how we, I nothing wrong with Indiegogo or Kickstarter, those types of things. Support them, support the artists on them. That's more important. But it just, I love the idea of supporting the way of directly supporting one another. That's what it comes down to. And it's so cool that we as a whole have broken past the algorithm, which is way cool. That's kind of the big thing. So yeah, the poster it'll be printed on both sides. There'll be a black and white version, which is this one. I see it. It'll be this one. So you'll get a black and white version on the one side, and on the opposite side of that poster, which it'll be the small 8.5 by, what is it? 6x10. What's a comic book size? 6.25, something like that. by your 10 and a half. It'll be your comic book size poster. So it'll be small, but it'll be, and it'll go within your comic book that you're getting, but it's going to be printed on both sides. So anyway, I thought that would be really cool for you guys. The other is that, like I said, I'll keep you up to date on where we are with the printing as we go along with that. We have everything else ready. We'll be also doing, the other thing that we'll be doing is that part of the budget for the funds was going to go towards paying for the copyright, which is relatively expensive, but in any case, that will go to that as well. So that's a huge thing. So thank you for that as well. Trying to think of anything else that I'm missing in around the project. We have all the shipping stuff. We have all the printing stickers. We have the do not bend stuff stickers. We have the cardboard that's going to come in. It'll come in a nice little cardboard package, and it'll have our kind of branding over it, so you won't miss it in the mail. Try to think of anything. I should show you guys some of this. So I'm talking about it. I'm coming. Coming. I'm here. So one of the things I liked so this is a package from Ethan Van Sciver. You can see this if I can get this up here. So I really liked this is how you're basically going to get it. It'll be nice and tightly packaged. So thank you, All Caps Comic, for that inspiration. So I don't know, coming from Apple where I worked, I just really like their overall packaging approach to things. And so it's kind of they're the standard, the gold standard, but this is about what we can pay for. So we'll be getting a package like this, but it will be, I got these. I designed these a while back. I'm going to turn upside down. Show that to you guys. So you'll get a little package with that on it. Thought that would be cool, like a little astronaut with the unicorn and the kind of funny. So that's how it's going to be wrapped in. And then, of course, your lovely stickers of Gwen, or we got over here, Cobb. We have a whole pack here of them. And then, of course, you'll be getting a fun little bookmark with it, too. So all those pieces are ready and printed. Like I said, all those pieces are ready and printed. The only thing we're waiting on is the comic book itself, which is my part over this next week and few days left. So been spending some late nights, but also been working on that too. So otherwise, that's it. That's all I got. Congratulations. Congratulations, dudes. Yes, Esteban. Congratulations. Trying to think of anything else that I'm missing. I don't think so. I think those are all the kind of the major pieces. That's it. Let's just draw. Let's just draw. Throw out throw out any thoughts or whatever's, or and certainly share this far and wide and all those sort of good things. I honestly haven't looked at any of the, I don't know, I generally try to look at Bounding into Comics or those types of things, kind of seeing what's going on. They have a pretty good take on the worldview. We share similar worldviews, I should say. Bounding into Comics, I don't even know. Poor Harrison Ford. That was the last thing I saw, and or the fact that Lord of the Rings is going to be smoked, but that's okay. We'll make our own stuff. Let's see here. We'll make this screen a little bigger, but actually, there we go. Okay. And I thought it'd be fun, again, just to kind of show you my process. I don't know if so this will actually be the last live stream. We'll do one. Oh, that was the other thing I wanted to talk about. We'll be doing one more live stream on Monday, and we'll do that Monday morning. That'll be kind of the Tikva Mind show, the podcast I've been doing. We'll be doing that. And then the other thing that we'll be doing is, we're starting to roll out on a weekly basis videos on anything from, like, this next video is going to be on color theory. That should be coming out. I think I have it set for Tuesday next week. So that's set to come out, and like our audio, or there's different things going on with it. And overall, as far as the content wise, I'm really happy with what we're sharing as far as basics in color theory, right? And it's a pretty big subject, but it's something that I think if we get, I guess my point is that I want to share across is that it doesn't matter necessarily if we have the best equipment or the right equipment. It's the importance of just getting started and doing it. I think that is such a important message for everybody involved, that just the importance of getting started and going after it. It's so incredibly important that regardless of the pitfalls that we have, or the issues that we have, or the things that we have to overcome, it really doesn't matter. And I guess, in some form or another, where, like, when I was a little kid thinking about making comics, and I was, that'd be so awesome to do, but drawing people just too hard, and I can't write stories, I can't even read, and just it went down this path, and it seemed it's so easy to get caught in that message that you lose track of who you are, in the sense of what your real purpose is, right? In terms of what you're really trying to ultimately fulfill. And certainly we all have all sorts of crazy jobs and different things that we go through life, or different challenges or experiences or pitfalls. But and so at one point in time, listening to my grandfather, and I think I've shared this story before with you guys, where he was looking at my abstract art, and he was just like, yeah, it's cool, but when you guys start making comics, and he was so right. He was so incredibly right. And at the time, I remember thinking, okay, Grandpa, you're right. You're moron. Of course, when how's the saying go? When you point one finger at somebody, you get three fingers pointing at yourself. And it's sort of a thing where, like, he was absolutely right. He was ahead of my time. And I certainly appreciate that. And in a lot of ways, this story, and I think I wrote an email that I sent out earlier today, and I also posted that in my blog on elijahloving.com, is that this story in a lot of ways is certainly is a contribution to my father, who passed. Gosh, has it been 2004? 17 years. It's been 17 years since he passed. And when I was like at 25 or thereabouts, and it's kind of hard to believe that after all that time of that, I miss the dude like nobody's business. He was an awesome role model, father, all the above. And it was so awesome that he, and certainly this is shared in my mom too. It just their unwillingness to say don't. They never said, it's time to give up, throw in the towel. They were always pushing to say, hey, you can do this. We can make this happen. We'll figure out a way, constantly. And that's something that I think, that idea and that embodiment, I tried my best to write it in this story. And it's exciting that you guys get to take a part of that. And a part of that is seeing that work grow. I like a year ago when I made, like, when you look at the, I don't know if you can see it, but if I move my head right, like the poster behind me, that's the actual cover for the book. I look at that and I'm like, that's pretty good. I feel pretty proud of that particular work. But that's always finding ways to improve, always finding ways to grow, improve my drawing skills, and that comes from a sense of a desire to help show others that we all need to do that in one form or another. And I know I'm kind of preaching to the choir sort of a thing, but it's exciting that we all get to take a part of it. So no, thank you, Braden. Appreciate you too, man. Congrats to yourself. I couldn't do this without you. You in particular. You certainly, Braden, were you saw the beginnings of this when you were with us, and I'm so excited for you and your next endeavor. So, no, congratulations to yourself too, man. I need to get to drawing here. Let's see here. It is. I'm gonna hide this layer. Do. Make sure you're on the right layer, right? Always make sure you're on the right layer. And you'll find as you zoom in, you're like, oh, geez, there's 1,000 mistakes. There's 1,000 mistakes. Let's see here. How do we get through this? Dive in. I have this flatting done in a particular way that I can kind of cheat these lines a little bit. Which just makes this technique that I'm using kind of awesome. Oops, see, did the wrong one there. There we go. Let's get this right. Well, flatting is such a cool subject as far as like just a cool skill. And really a lot of artists, sometimes artists, what they'll do is they'll just flat it and let the artwork speak for itself. And some works it does work, and others it doesn't. It's kind of one you kind of have to play. With it. It's not one size fits all sort of a thing. Oh, and I should mention this. This is you're looking at. Don't look. I'll show you. Yeah, well, you'll have to look at it here in a second. I'm busy working, coloring here. Because I gotta that's where I'm grabbing some of these colors from, so I can. Again, you can move a little bit quicker. And then having your shortcuts, man, that's legit. Let's see here. One of the reasons I can do this is I actually have his layer locked down. You can see these locks over here in the bottom right-hand corner. So it's locked down. So that's why anytime the colors are the same, which is he's on the same layer, I have to do this. But if it's outside of that layer, I can be as sloppy as I want. And then when I just pop in a color with the continuity and all those sort of things, and then it makes it easier just to, you use your wand tool, and then you can easily select there. And then ish. It's just getting the basics in. That's all we're worried about. Now, since those are two different colors, that's why it's going to work there. You do have to sometimes go back, and sometimes your colors are too close, and that's will actually be where you have to change up your colors a little bit. But the other is that in let's see here. This is kind of my list of color swatches that I use down here that I like using. I use them. That's kind of my palette that I go with generally. I'm generally finding myself in this vicinity. I don't know if you can see my mouse wiggling around there. In the swatches section. I'm generally in this section right here. This is my favorite section right here. Also, any of your skin tones. This is the cool thing. When you start diving into color theory, this is one of my favorite subjects about color theory, is the fact that regardless of what, how do I say this? Regardless of what skin tone you are, you're still found on the same exact spectrum, which essentially is pink in one form or another, just added more shades or more tints to it. Which shades are adding more dark colors, when your tints you're adding white, right? And so I think it's such an awesome thing in terms of our how connected we truly are. We're on the same spectrum, which is such a cool thing. I know it's a weird geek out thing, but it's true, man. Let's see here. And then made this all one layer. I'll have to see if I need to go back, but this should be fine. It'll work. There we are. So I'll break this up a little bit more. Like he'll have a different colored vest. I'll have to kind of tinker with that a little bit, but that'll do for right now. And done. Let's move to Jamie here. I don't necessarily have I don't know. You kind of work from back to front in a manner of speaking, but really you just move from one object to another. The nice thing is when you capture one object like this hand, it'll basically capture all the other pieces. You don't have to go back through and worry about it another time. So, for example, like any kind of object that's complicated or you have to really finesse, a lot of the hard work at this point has already been done. It's just glorified, what are you, coloring books. That sounds funny. See, like for here, you just get in a habit, but I can actually go over this. I'm good here. And then I will get rid of his hand. The other thing that happened earlier this week is my daughter's kind of shadowing me on some of this stuff, my eldest, and she was just like, she was watching me do this, and she's like, "Whoa, you're so fast." And one thing that I told her is like, "Well, I think I have like, I think I have like 20 years difference on you in understanding and working within this program." So it sounds like cheating. I did that because I didn't want to make sure because I didn't see how things are a little bit darker, and we're gonna mess with that, because we don't want this to be near as dark, and we'll tone that back a little bit so the color can kind of pop through, but we'll mess with that later. I'm not too worried about that. Depth is good, and we can we'll basically be able to control that in the areas that we want to. So see things like this, and one thing you do when you're doing these flats is you have to take a breather and just sort of go, okay, where um you're constantly critiquing yourself, where you're just looking for ways to find and make sure that you're interpreting right, because that doesn't make sense. That's like a strap or like his backpack or some sort of thing. So I'll have to mess with that because that red might not be the right color. He's wearing a glove. So do that. And that'll be a glove there. So I can be sloppy through there, but since it's still the same blue, I need to be a little bit more precise. There we go. And again, this is the color-ish. That's all we're concerned about. We'll get it next time. And that's actually almost, there we go. Okay. And you've seen, these are all actually on the, that's why I'm using these. Because these are all on my on the website. Now the website doesn't have that text there. The other thing I should probably mention on this one is that when we put this into, we'll actually be using InDesign. In InDesign, we'll be able to cut off these edges where exactly we want them within the page, and so you still get this sort of stuff. So these different effects and those sort of things. So we'll kind of be playing around with that. But it's, but yeah. I want his glove to be a different color. I gotta take that out and throw that in. Yeah, guys, feel free to throw out a comment or a thought or any movies you're looking at, all those sort of things. Throw that stuff out. Oh, I think I messed up here. It's okay. There we go. They're funny. I think. I'll mess with that. They're gonna become a flat color. Maybe those. We'll mess around with it. It's just we're just plotting it out. I don't like that at all, but whatever. Just keep on here. And see Tristan next. I really don't think it's just his hands we just need to get right. There we go. He's on this page. So it'll be a gray of some sort. I do use, like, on a lot of these guns, I will actually use a 3D model as that reference. Because then there's like a Sketchfab is the app that I tend to use, and you can actually um, you can orient the device, gun, helicopter, whatever, however you want to, and then you can use that as that reference or guide. Because sometimes figuring out the perspective, especially if you don't have some of these things in your house, um, like I don't have a Black Hawk helicopter in my backyard, which would be amazing, by the way. Um, it gives you a way to be able to orient it in a different way you wouldn't have done otherwise or thought of otherwise. Same for the little birds and those types of things over here too. Um, so it just gives you a way of breaking that down, seeing that perspective, because perspective can be an incredibly daunting and time consuming. If you've ever tried to do it freehand, it can be again really daunting and overly complicated. I mean, that's kind of a cheat that you can use. And again, at this point, you're just trying to group the sections together. And let's see here. Nice. That looks really cool. Be happy with that. And I think I'm gonna go with this more of this green color here. I'm gonna save that. Let's not quite sure which parts we want to do here first. I think that's how we want to do this. There we go. Look good. I'll worry about her straps here in a second. And you also um let's see here. Yeah, if I hide, I'll show you what it looks like, because when I hide all these lines, it looks kind of funny. But I'll hide it for you guys so you can see that. How all comic books are colored. There, right there. That might be too close. So see how when I selected that, it's just way too close. So I will actually, we're gonna make it that for right now. Oops, let me go back. We're gonna make it that for right now, so I can select her here, and then I'll go back. That way, I don't have to do the job twice. Now, one thing that happens with color is you can see this has a, because of her jacket here, it really has a green, and then because of the red, our eye naturally wants to make this look she has green hair. But we'll fix it. It's no big deal right now. Back. Oh shoot, I want to do this first too. Take your feathers out. And then she wasn't wearing a scarf in this one. So we gotta pick a color here. One thing that you can use, there's this thing. This thing's pretty awesome. So this is just Adobe stuff. You can do this here too to set them up as far as your different color combinations. But let's try triad. No. Compound is really just a combination of, you have your monochromatic and then it goes to your complementary. That's a lot of times that's what compound does. And then you have your main, see the wane color right here. That one's selected. You can really pull through here. Let's see here. Now it doesn't, when you select a color here, it doesn't necessarily affect that one, but I want to go complementary for a second. So this is a simpler breakdown of that. What I want to do is purples versus reds. You really just have to just kind of squeeze through and see what you find. There it is. Let's go off of that one. And I have this selected down here, so that's what they show up down here actually. So let's try that one. And get rid of you. There we go. Now we're starting to get somewhere. All right, so let's bring her back. Well, first I want to do these feathers first. Or bring her back. And it's trial and error. That's all that it is. And find the right skin tone. Ish. So here we're gonna go back through and fix, but that's pretty good. See how it still has that green tint to it. That's just one of the things that I'll have with it, but we'll fix it. It's no big deal. Oh, I always do this. This is why you double, triple check. Even select that? I know I did. Damn it. All right. This happens too. This is the other thing. Is that let's do this. Go back to this layer. All right. So you're like, oh no, I can't. I have to do all those lines again. No, no, no. Don't do that. So we'll just select that. Oops, get the right layer. There we are. There's a reason why I'm not like, you're like, oh, why can't you combine them? Or that I have them locked. There's an action that I'm doing up here that does all this stuff for me. It's kind of one of the major Photoshop magic tricks. Yeah. There we go. Cool. Oh, just like that. When no time we're fixed. It's cool. Oops, get that selected. There we go. Cool. That's fixed. I will go back through and get those straps. So there's little things here and there. So like the inside of his shirt will be a different color, and so and then we'll go back through and spruce that up, make it all look nice and pretty. Let's do, what layer was this? Did I even do the helicopters yet? Oh, I didn't. Let's do that then. Player action. Get to the choppas. All right. I think that's everything. What color should we make these? Some sort of black. I might see what this does. Oh yeah, those look pretty cool. Cool. The things that I will do to this is that I have so you have these types of layers, but then the other thing is I have let's see if I can bring it up real quick. I have layers like you can bring in our different textures and those types of things, like a fabric texture maybe for the stripe, or I'll play with different watercolor textures and those types of things that weren't necessarily in the original that I can put in there. And that just gives me a way. And then the other thing, like I said, I'll do at this point is, oh, I need to do these two girls. I'll do these before I take off. But you can see just with a little bit of color here, and the value that's already in this layer over here, it really does make it pop so much so that it's almost to the point where it's really close. And then one really cool thing is that I turn on this layer right here. This is my values layer. One really cool thing about the values layer is you can see here, like this green, she's really popping out. So I just want this is just gives you kind of a gauge, because right now it's just all like your midtones and shades in here. And I want to make sure that I want to throw in my highlights in there too, and bring them out and make them pop. And even some glow, for example, because kind of what I'm thinking, what I want to do is put a little bit of sunlight behind here in this section, which will make them make her kind of her back glow a little bit, kind of like your backlit sort of a thing. And I'll be kind of in that area, and it'll also be a little bit on Jamie here, along with his hat. You'll see a little bit of highlights there. It'll also be, I'll have it also a little bit on him right here too, because that shadow on the opposite side, just to make him pop forward a little bit more. And you just kind of go through and do it on the other side. So anyway, this value layer, it's all actually just one big black. On the effects, as far as normal, it's just a black shape like that. But when you turn it to all the way to your different settings of multiply, you have all these fun. Yeah, there you go. Or what's that? There you go. This is like this early 80s. Jeez. There we go. that looks great. Let's use that one. Let's see here. But you put it on color, it basically takes out all the saturation, gives you just the tonal value of each one of those colors. So the highlights are clearly missing, and we'll add those things back into here too. Let me finish out this. Our girls down here at the bottom, so they're ready to rock and roll too. And I don't necessarily have to. The other thing is, these are just ways to easily select. The reason why you do each one of these layers, so that you're able to select really quickly in Photoshop, and whoever's coloring this, in this case me, you will be able to quickly select just that section, manipulate it, add a texture, whatever it might be. Like, for example, you want to add a cloth texture to here, or you want to add a different texture to the gun, or whatever you want to add, you can do that, and you're dealing just with that section. The other thing is then on the holds, I can separate some of these, what they call the holds, which is basically your inks. You can separate some of them, and then you can actually, from there, you can bring out the highlights, change the value of some of those. And so that's kind of a nice little cool technique you can do too. And then you also have, which it won't necessarily, I don't think there'll be a whole lot of it in this one, but things like making it glow and those types of effects to really make things pop. You'll see a lot of it, like your lightning or those types of things. But we're going to put it back here just so there's a little bit of a glow, and you'll see it on some of the characters here too. Because the other thing is too, is that even though this is just a placeholder, you can actually, like I said, artists will actually, what they'll do is they'll spend a lot of bit of time on this section, and they'll get the colors right from the get-go, and then they're done. The flatting is the work. That's it. You're done. Where I'm going to take this a bit further to add some of those effects that we want to have. Why is that not? It's got the wrong thing selected. There we go. I had her. I haven't shown her you guys yet. Ish. We'll figure it out. Looks like the Hulk lady. We'll leave that subject alone right now. Oh, gosh. Yeah, incredible. Yeah, they just instead of making, I'll stop. There's plenty of stories. See, it's got me distracted. I can't even do this job right. Um, there's plenty of stories out there right now. You can look up. I'm not gonna see. Not gonna touch that subject right now. It's sad. It's sad. We like our women good looking and powerful. That's my point. It's got to have both of those things. Sorry if you don't like that. That's all I'm going to say right now. Oh, I want a combination of her shirt. Nice. Ish. So again, you're just looking for the vicinity that we're going in. Is that what's that? Who the Gamora? There you go. She looks like she's from that Gamora character from Gardens of the Galaxy. There we go. Good. Okay. Even though, yes, I want to invite you guys to the Elijah Loving website and check that out. Also, if there's with 3 days left, you can still contribute to the project. Want to invite you to that as well. And certainly you can like, subscribe, all those sort of good things on YouTube, and that certainly helps out with that algorithm. But it's again more about putting it in the if you did like this content, it does put it in other people that wouldn't necessarily see this content or be able to experience it, and so it just gives them another way to for that algorithm to expand out there and reach new people, and that's really what this is about. So it's bigger than all of us. There we go. I was checking my RAM right here. Photoshop's a bit of a RAM eater. Let's see here. I want to. I haven't shown her yet to you guys, so I'm trying to remember what color I put it as. I don't remember. I think it was. I think like a not that blue jeans. It was washed out jeans. Not that blue. There we are. Let's take out. There we go. And I think that's how it was. I think that's what I had. There you go. There you go. And her here was a bit of a blonde color, but I don't think that's quite the color that we want. Yellow is such a crazy color when it comes to. There, I'll make it pop out. It's the only point we want right now. So there we have it. There's all the flats in. I will. That's pretty much what we'll do at this point. And you can see, even with that, it looks pretty cool. But we're going to add in more textures, all those sort of fun things. Like I said, there's about we have about 3 days left on the campaign. Just wanted to first and foremost, congratulations on for everybody. Couldn't do this without you, and it's an awesome journey. And we will certainly, after we go through this, we'll reassess and kind of figure out what we need to do better, and to be able to ultimately meet our goals and meet our expectations and those sort of things, and what we need to do and to improve, so that we can reach more people. That's really what this is about. So that, again, the idea of the independent artist, and this also gives us the ability to, what we'll do is we have within the budget, there's a couple copies. We have about, it's somewhere around 30 to 40 copies. What we'll do is we'll take those and we'll take them and put them into comic book shops or those types of things. And so it just gives us a little bit of a way to do a little bit of outreach and expand our nets. And that's kind of the idea behind it. Aside from that, like I said, couldn't do this without you guys. You guys are absolutely amazing. I appreciate each and every one of you. And you guys have no idea how much that means to me. So I think that's all I've got. I hope you guys have an excellent, safe, and fun weekend. Happy 4th of July. And 1776. We'll see you guys later. Bye.